Order. Thank everybody for coming out. Our first item, going to be here in a minute. Election of chair.
I'd like to nominate Todd King for chair.
Second.
A motion we close nominations.
Yes. For a motion to close the nominations.
Second.
You have to
Take
vote
a
on
vote.
that,
Take a vote.
on closing the nominations.
Oh, you do? Okay. You want to take a vote, please?
Aye.
Mr. Kitts?
Aye.
Ms. Demots? Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Mr. Fidjakowski?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye. Thank you all. Appreciate that.
Well, we have to vote on you now.
Yeah, one more.
That was just to close the thing.
Vote taken on nominations for chair. Go ahead.
Mr. Grasky?
Aye.
Mr. Kitts?
Aye.
Ms. Demots?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Fidjakowski?
Aye.
All right, now it's yours.
Again, I appreciate that. Coming up next is election of vice chair. Is there any nominations?
Yes, I nominate Supervisor Derek Kitts.
A motion we close nominations.
I'll second.
Did you take roll?
Mr. Grasky?
Aye.
Ms. Demots?
Aye.
Mr. Fidjakowski?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Mr. Kitts?
Aye, and I'd like to thank all of you for your trust in this.
Go ahead and take roll, call for,
Mr.
Mr. Kitts.
Grasky?
Aye.
Ms. Demots?
Aye.
Mr. Fidjakowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kitts?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Mr. King, Mr. King?
aye. Thank y'all. Now, next item is election of secretary, treasurer. Is any nominations?
Yes. I nominate Mary Biggs.
A motion we close nominations.
I'll second.
Madam Secretary, call roll, please.
Mr. Grasky?
Aye.
Ms. Demots?
Aye.
Mr. Fidjakowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kitts?
Aye.
Ms. Biggs?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
6 ayes.
And now we vote on that.
Call roll to vote her in.
Mr. Grasky?
Aye.
Ms. Demots?
Aye.
Mr. Fidjakowski?
Aye.
Mr. Kitts?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Now you're all set.
Thank y'all for going through this pretty smooth. Next on the agenda would be a public address. If anybody has anything you'd like to say, please step forward, state your name, where you live in the county, and you'll have 5 minutes.
Sarah Rios Bond, District A. In our last Board of Supervisors meeting, when the accountants talked about our audit, let's make sure that we have some commentary in response to that as it related to the PSA, going over budget or not being like balanced. You know, I know we have our reasons, so thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to step forward? Seeing nobody here, we'll close public address. Approval, December the 2nd, minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Thank you. on the new business, Chuck is going to speak about a new addition.
So I was asked by the maintenance crew if they could possibly get some more help. We've grown quite a bit. We've got a lot more stuff we need to take care of, and it's a little bit much for 5 people. They asked for 2 positions. This year's budget, I went and talked with Mark Magruder, and we looked over everything. This year's budget will handle 1 for the remainder of this fiscal year, and then we could build the other one into next fiscal year's budget, if y'all are all right with that.
Yeah, Chuck, I got a question. Do you have a list of applicants?
We haven't put nothing out.
Okay, so you don't keep a running list of
No, sir.
of people? Okay, just curious.
What's the approximate salary and benefits for these positions?
That position, if you come in as just a maintenance worker, the salary is $63,981, including benefits.
Including benefits per year?
Yes.
So,
And this is a maintenance position. It's not like a water operator position. What are the roles of the maintenance
Just
position?
install water and sewer connections, maintain water and sewer connections, meter reading, just whatever falls in that.
Will they be able to help on call outs?
Yes.
Like, okay.
Oh, yes.
Will that help with any, I know that it's a training process to get somebody able, but will that help with any of the burdening on your existing maintenance crew? How does it work if they're called out? Does everybody come, just whoever's on call?
Whoever's on call will go first, and then they'll call whatever personnel they need. Generally, all of them come out. But if we had a couple more people, then, maybe somebody could, if somebody were doing something, they wouldn't, they would be able to not have to participate at one time or another and have enough people to fill in.
Well, I ask that because in my line of work, being on call is a requirement, which is stressful. For everybody that has to be on call, it's stressful because it makes it very difficult to have a life outside of being on call. So I'm inclined to support the request. Not only that, but I know that the systems have grown, and you would not be asking if you didn't feel like there was a real need for this.
I shared with y'all, I think in December, we added about 100, and if I remember, it's about 160 roughly connections. I don't see that slowing down for the upcoming year, so things are going pretty well out on the subdivisions and places where growth is happening now, so I anticipate that number to probably be somewhere close to what last year's number was, so.
when was the last time we grew staff within that group?
I don't think we ever have we, Mary?
Ever
I don't
have.
recall it ever.
For us growing anything.
No, it's always been pretty much what the number is now,
Okay.
so.
So, and I'm just going to bring this up to reiterate a point, and I know we're going to talk about it here in a little bit, but the point of making sure that the guys are taken care of, that the department's taken care of as a whole is imperative. And I know I've talked to other supervisors our members for the board, and that's important. So we need to make sure that as we do this, we're making sure there's a plan for it, and that we're not just doing this on a need basis, that we can plan for the need, because as you say, this is not going to slow down. So I know I've talked about this a couple times, and I'm told you're going to address it some today. But the need for this study is not just for infrastructure, but it's personnel infrastructure also, not just the physical capital portion, but the people. And that's why I think this study is so important, because we need to be able to get on that track. And I'm going to reiterate that, and that's a hill I'm going to die on for that one, because to make sure that they have all the tools they need to be successful, and you have all the tools that you need to be able to lead that department, I think this is just an imperative that we need to get done.
What kind of, do we need to take a vote?
We need to vote on that, Marty?
County should probably have some type of resolution. Vote.
We can't hear you.
Well, I make a motion that we go ahead and fund the position for the rest of this fiscal year.
Second.
Then would you want to bring it back up? We're looking at two positions, bring it back up after we do our budget?
Yeah.
Of course, I think Mark said we was good with that for our next budget. Okay. Be a vote to add this position for this budget year.
Mr. Grafsky,
Aye.
Ms. Demott,
Aye.
Mr. Fitchukowski,
Aye.
Ms. Biggs.
Aye.
Mr. Kitts,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
6 ayes.
Thank y'all. I know the guys will appreciate it.
Yes. Next item on the list is the financial report. Operating cash, $3,865,294. Capital improvements, $714,078. Customer deposits, $104,470 for a total of $4,683,842. Move on.
I am not prepared to speak to it, but can we maybe at our next PSA meeting talk about the audit and the budget situation? I don't know enough about it to ask any type of qualified, questions right now.
And I don't have anything prepared to tell you, so that would be
Gotcha.
better to wait until next month.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Only thing I have is, the study's ongoing for the, system-wide study. Hurt and Profit's gonna be taking care of that. Putting together, taking a look at our current, infrastructure and things we need to do to make improvements. So, know that's ongoing, so waiting for get their report back.
You know when they'll have a report?
I don't know when, I don't know how long this will take. They haven't given me a timeline.
Okay.
I'm just going to bring this up because, again, this falls back of the way I'm wired, but there needs to be a deadline on this because I don't want an open-ended look on this. There needs to be a definitive mark on the wall for them because until we get these studies done, the county kind of stays in a pause. And as the county grows, we're still paused. As you said, you haven't grown as far as you could remember in a long time. It's probably well past that point for that department to be able to grow in order to meet the needs of the citizens that we have. So I would rather we be a little more expeditious with this, a little more, not asking us to jump through hoops on stuff, but for about 6 or 7 months, I've been wanting to try to get this done, and I've asked y'all and talked to y'all individually about the importance of this. And I think with Chuck coming here saying he needs 2 more people again, we're back to that point of how important this study really is. And the adjustment on that might be that I want to know, like, I didn't see the RFP on that. RFP. Yeah. But to be able to see what the questions were, is it structural and infrastructure, or is it overall just the engineering portion, or is it the department as a whole in order to help them be more efficient and able to operate better?
We have an A&E firm, I guess they're an engineering firm, under contract. So we just did we issue a purchase order yet? We issued a purchase order and there's a scope of work in that we can get. And I don't know the answer to that question about whether or not it includes personnel kind of items.
I don't remember seeing anything in there for personnel. This was
It was just assist.
something, yeah, this was just for the,
If there's consensus of the board and funding, we can add that to the scope of work.
Does Hurt and Profit handle those types of inquiries?
I don't know, do you?
I don't know about the personnel part of it. I'd have to ask that question.
My thought process for this is it just needs to be an overall look. Yes, we know the structural part as we start talking about Brush Mountain and the costs and everything, and then where we're growing outside of the towns and those areas, out there in the unincorporated areas. But we just need to make sure that we've got a good baseline so we're able to grow efficiently and effectively to make the best use of the money that we do have. So I'd like to be able to discuss this at length a little bit more to get the overall picture, because to be successful, you need to have the proper tools in your box. And if you don't have it, doesn't matter what you do, you're not gonna be able to fix it. So I just wanna make sure that we have that capability available.
Do you want the scope of work to change before you have further discussion?
I'm concerned that that wouldn't be in Hurt and Profit's scope.
I don't think it's their wheelhouse.
I think that would be a different type of study to do, like a workforce study.
I didn't know if they might have a partner that they work with to do that kind of work.
Because I think they should proceed with the study as the purchase order is requested.
I don't wanna hold up the structural portion.
Okay,
That's my opinion on that one. I don't want to hold up the structural part because we know that's a need too, a big one, a huge one, because the infrastructure investments alone are going to be substantial. But if we're going to invest in that, we need to invest in the people.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just to use round numbers, as an example, if it's, 10 workers to service, if we have 10 FTEs that are servicing 3,000 connections, doesn't mean that if we have 6,000 connections, we need 20, right? And so that's where I think this study will inform what kind of economies of scale or not may exist as the system grows and things like that. And so I think those are considerations that need to be taken into account as we're mapping out the growth of the system.
I can. Yes, I got that note here. I can do that. I'll call tomorrow and find out if they can give me a deadline for the study and ask about if they are capable of doing anything with personnel. If not, find somebody.
Yeah, you just get back to us and make sure we got a good idea. I know the structural portion, got it, check. I just want to make sure you're taken care of. That's all, because we take care of the citizens, and if you're not taken care of, it doesn't matter. So, well, it does matter, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. Okay. That's all I have.
Members report. Member Grass.
I don't have anything to report this evening. Thank you.
Member Demott.
Report.
Member Steve.
No report.
Derek, do you want him to go before me?
He's next. You go ahead.
Okay, I'm just gonna bring it up again, like I'm worried about the study. I was told that the study had to be completed before you applied for grants, and spring is like right around the corner, and that's when the grants come. So I need to tell my Brush Mountain people something. What am I gonna tell them? I keep telling them that we're working on it, but it's getting close to springtime. So is it gonna happen that we're gonna be ready to look at grants, or how's that gonna work?
We can look at them. Yep, we can look at the grants.
Okay, and then the other thing I want to ask Ms. Hill about, because is Morgan Griffith's office, have they given us any more information about any kind of money that we can get because of having mines?
no, we haven't received any more information about that.
Should we ask?
I'll ask about
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
So,
any kind of money we can get to help. Okay, thank you.
there are kids.
No report, thank you.
Thank you. As far as the grants and all, Chuck looks at them all the time. He tries to find money everywhere. He does. And the county staff, finance, they help him do that. So we are keeping an eye on any grants that we can get. Well, does anybody have anything else? Nothing else to be said? This meeting be adjourned.
Yeah.